Okay. A to the L to the I to the Z to the E. And we back with your daily dose of legendary Z, where we talk about success and motivation and the place to be. So come and take a seat. I'm about to drop this heat. Come this way just to hear me speak. Now, sometimes we may switch it up, but this is going to be something. The title of this, the topic of this is going to be my presumptuous ass ways. Now, the reason I decided to name this my presumptuous ass ways is because I assume a lot. And since I'm going to show you this, all right? I want to show y'all something real quick. This is something that I decided to do when I was watching a video of Jim Rohn, all right? Now, if you can see that, what does that say? Let me show y'all this. Not that part, but you see that? Okay, you see that? That's my manifestation and my repetition for my, for my other stuff. But basically what this is things to work on, need, a fucking must. Assumptions, listening, defense mechanism, escaping. Because what it does is, we're going to go into the definition of what assumption is and why, okay? And I'm going to explain to you why I've assumed so much of my life. Because now I just want to take you into the journey of who I am. And this is really who I am, okay? I am fucking fucked up in my head. Now, that's why I need the mental help. So anyway, basically, when someone tells me something, all right, and it may get to me at that moment, the assumptions come in. I block out the listening. I get defensive, then I escape. All right. So, the reason I showed you that is because I want you to know that every day, when I was watching the video of Jim Rohn, he said affirmations are good, but affirmations can be used to be realistic, meaning that sometimes we have to tell ourselves it's our fault that we broke. We have to say, I am broke. Or, I could be doing way better with my life, but I'm really not. Okay? We have to tell ourselves that. Or sometimes we have to tell ourselves, you are, you do assume, you don't listen, you are defensive, and you do escape. These are things that I'm admitting. So every day when I wake up in the morning to start my day, I have to look at this. Yes, I wake up in the morning, I do what I do, I stay away from people majority of the time, only because at the moment, I just stay in my room. I have a lot of inner thoughts a lot of things that I'm thinking about on an everyday basis. So when thinking about, like when I woke up this morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock. I did my meditation. I did my 2 meditations. Okay. I did my affirmations and stuff like that. I do that. But at the same time, I have to be realistic with myself and I have to look at this. So just because I'm telling you or I'm giving you motivation and success, this also helps me because the journey of my life is going to be put out on YouTube. So I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think, but this is my life and this is who I am. And this is the things that I have to change. Okay. Now, what we are going to talk about is what is the definition of success, the definition of assumption. Okay. And I'm going to give the explanation and why this is important and why I have presumptuous ways. So enjoy the video. Assumption, a thing that is accepted as true or certain to happen without proof. Now, what that means is when a person is assuming something, okay, at that moment, I'm going to break it down for you. There's positive assumptions and then there's negative assumptions. I do negative assumptions. I will assume what is not true, but then when I assume it to not be true because it's not an actual fact, I'm making up a scenario in my head, and what I'm doing is I'm basically exaggerating, okay? I would say like I'm lying to myself and telling myself, for example, I'll use a scenario, okay? What's something? So a friend of mine, we were texting, okay, an acquaintance, we were yesterday, and she said her beliefs are different from mine, and because of what I believe in versus what she believes in, she doesn't want to tell me certain things. At that moment, I jumped to an assumption because I thought, wait, I got offensive. I was defensive, and I was like, oh, this is kind of coming off offensive. But then I had to go back, and then I had to look at the message again and then say, okay, from what she believes in and from what I believe in is a total different thing. So she may feel what works for me may not work for her, and that's totally understandable. So I decided to go back, and instead of me responding and saying, oh, well, this is how you made me feel, and thinking that it was all about me, I decided not to do that. I decided to go back, analyze it, and then just sit back and say, okay, so this is what happened. Okay, so this is basically what she's trying to say. Because I jumped to the assumption, assuming something that wasn't true without actual proof, because all she was just saying was, what works for me may not work for her. And our beliefs are two different things. She's, our spirituality, the way she views things is the way she has her own perception. And the way I view things is the way I have my own perception. Explanation. Explanation, meaning you have the negative perception of someone's behavior, yours, and even the other's intentions. So at that moment, I'm already thinking a negative thought, and that assumption is leading me to believe that this is true, but in reality, that's not what's happening. But I'm in my inner thoughts, and I'm lying to myself, and I'm basically putting myself in a position of not only making the situation worse, not even making it a situation, but I'm making it a situation because I'm causing it. I'm causing the problem because I assumed I didn't listen, and I didn't listen, right? And then what does that do? Then she says what she has to say, then I get defensive, and then what does that have to do? If we were on the phone, I probably would have hung up or said something that was out of the ordinary, because normally I would do that, so why is this important? This is important because this can affect relationships with myself and others. One of my negative traits: how to change. Stop. Analyze, ask, clarification equals communication. Presumptuous. So yes, I am a presumptuous individual. I do assume things before actually taking the time to ask the person what they're saying, analyze the situation, and actually get it through my thick skull that this is not something that's negative. First off, it's not a situation until I make it a situation, because once I assume the negative, that's when it becomes a situation. That's when it becomes a problem. So that is something that I have to work on. So every day when I wake up, I look at this, because this is what's going to keep me in line, and also me in therapy. And I want to tell you this because we're going to start talking about not just only that, but going into the personal development. And then I will let you know the skills and the basis of how my life is. So I'm not a fake person. No, absolutely not. Have I been in the past? Yes. Wearing a mask. The mask has to come off. I want people to know who I really am. I want people to know that I have problems. And I want people to know that, yes, I'm not putting my problems out here because I want sympathy or because I know you're going to talk shit. I'm putting my problems out here because I want to be honest. Because I'm not going to go out into this world not being honest, especially if I actually want to be able to make a change, become a better version of myself. I cannot change that. I cannot do anything until I help me. So this is my therapeutic therapy, me putting this out in the open and still continuing my content, but giving you the journey of my life and actually having you to experience the things that I go through. And as time goes, you will see the growth and change that I am starting to change and what I'm implementing in my everyday life. Yes, I do tend to assume a lot because in my past and experiences that I have experienced, which is no excuse, this is not an excuse, what I have experienced causes me to assume the negative. So immediately I will jump to the conclusion. And an ex always told me, you always jump the gun. Stop jumping the gun. You never give a chance for someone to explain. You just jump the gun. Because I'm jumping the gun and I'm not letting the other person finish because I'm not listening. So, what can I do to change that? Might you ask? Jose. Okay, you aware, so what you gonna do to change it? Sipping the fake water that is in this cup. It's not really fake water, but it's not really any water in there anyway. Or was it? Easy. Another situation occurs. Something that I may not like. Okay? Hearing someone tell me, giving me constructive criticism and telling me what they don't like about the things that I do. What I don't like about you, Alize. This is what I don't like about you. This is what I don't like about you. This is what I would have to do. I would have to shut the hell up. Listen. Quiet my mind. Quiet my thoughts. Instead of going on a whole rampage and thinking that this person is being negative, but accepting the constructive feedback, the constructive criticism that they're giving me. Once I listen and I'm open-minded to listening, and hearing that person express and voice how they feel, that's when the assumptions, I get rid of it. Throw it out the window. It's going to hurt, but I'm going to have to swallow that hard pill. Then, once I actually open up my big ass ears and I'm now listening, the assumptions are thrown out the window because now I'm not going to assume. I'm not going to jump to conclusion. I'm listening. That's the whole point, is to listen. Then I don't get defensive. Because now that I'm analyzing the situation, now that I'm sitting and taking it, although it might be like, damn, shit. In the back of my head, I'm probably wanting to cry or scream or be like, fuck you and everything that you stand for. But in reality, I'm telling myself, I'm opening up my mind and I'm listening. I'm not listening to how I'm feeling. I'm putting fact over feelings. So now I'm looking at the facts. Okay, I've opened up. They said, Alize, I don't like how you do this. You used to run your mouth. You used to tell my business. You used to tell other people's business. You told your business. You had a big ass mouth. Okay, that's true. Okay, they're just telling me how they feel. They may tell me in a way that I'm just like, God damn. But everyone expresses themselves in a different way. Don't assume. Take the heat. Listening. Now I'm listening. The defense mechanism isn't going to come through because it's not going to have any time to come through because I've opened up my mind. Meaning that I actually sat, I analyzed the situation and I won't escape. So what I will do is I'll analyze the situation, tell them, can you give me a little bit more clarification? What else did I do that affected you or made you feel some type of way? Because if I made you feel any type of way, what else did I do? And how did that make you feel? And honestly, can I be real with you? I'm gonna be real. I've lost a lot of people's trust over the years. And let me tell you something, trust is a hard thing to gain back. And the most important person that I can say that I lost, the one thing I can say is when a person says, I don't know if I can trust you, that right there is the scariest thing. Because trust is a very big thing. And see, I've played in life, I haven't taken things as serious as I should have. And these are the 4 things that are making me stagnant. Assuming that I have changed, but not the way people want me to. Not saying that I should change for others, but I should change for myself. But now that I've actually became aware of this problem and now I know how to solve it, what will I do? Like I said, I will actually sit to listen, let the other person finish what they have to say, analyze it, then I'll, digest it within myself, and then I'll say, okay, maybe this person isn't trying to, they're not trying to, but they're not trying to hurt me, but they're trying to express to me how they actually feel. And I have to be willing to accept that. And not accept it and also respect it. Accept that this is how they feel and respect how they feel, and not go on a temper tantrum and then go and just do all this ridiculous shit, because that really doesn't help me. In fact, that makes it a lot worse. So yes, am I giving you the story of my life and who I am? Of course. Do I have a mask on? No, I do not, because I don't want anyone to know. I don't want anyone to know. I don't want anyone thinking that I'm just this perfect individual or this, that, and the third. No, I'm just going to be real as fuck on this channel, and that's just what it is. I'm giving you the problems that I have to work on and things that are very important, and I still do to this day. I do assume, I don't listen, and I do get defensive, and I do escape because of things that have happened in my past. And whatever happened, the way I reacted, a response and a reaction are 2 different things. Okay, responding is different. Okay, when you're responding to something, you're more calm, you're collective about the situation. But when you are reacting to something, an automatic reaction, you get defensive. That's where the defensive mechanisms come in, and that's where mine comes in. So that is why I'm in therapy, and that is why I'm learning about myself, okay, and understanding who I am. Not to dwell on this shit, but to actually say, you know what, now I have to change the concept of how I view myself. Because I no longer want to view myself as this person who assumes, who doesn't listen, who gets defensive and escapes and can't handle their own situations, their own problems in life. I can't solve your problems. I'm fucked up myself, so how can I solve yours? However, what I can do is express to you what the realism is in this reality and how it can be changed and fixed, especially when you've acknowledged these things. So if it's something that you're going through or something that you have to undergo, I'm not telling you, oh, it's going to be easy. No. But some people will say maybe you make it hard, or maybe you don't want to, or maybe deep down inside you may not want to. I am scared of change. Change is a very scary thing for me. But if I don't change, this is not something that this is not a want or will. This is something where I need to change. If I don't change, I will lose a lot of people in my life, and that's just what it is. And I want to be very realistic on this channel and actually tell you and give you the journey of my life. And yes, being a presumptuous person is not someone that anyone wants to be around. That's why many connections have failed, because of my assumptions and to assume negative things. There's a difference between using the law of assumption and using just a negative ass assumption. Okay, the law of assumption is assuming this person likes me. I'm just going to assume that this is going to happen, and and it persists in the fact. But when you actually assume negative, it's the same shit, because when you assume something so negative so often, it does persist in the fact. But see, that is the reflection. So how people view me is how I view myself. I see myself as a very bad person because how I'm feeling and how I'm seeing these things. But now I have to go within and I have to see myself without judgment. But not judge myself and say, oh, you this, that, and the third, but say you need to get your shit together. And that's exactly what I told myself. I do need to get my shit together, and that's just the real. So this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I gave you what is assumption, what is the explanation, why it's important, and why am I a presumptuous person? Because of things that I've undergone. That is no excuse, but at the same time, I have to look back, reflect on what I did. This week was not good because I assumed, I didn't listen, and it caused a reaction. And now people have their guard up to where it's, I don't know when Alize is going to get defensive. She might not hear that. She's probably going to go to her, all of these things. So people already have the assumption that, well, this is going to happen. I'm going to predict she's going to do this. Now I change that around and I see what's different, and I'll let you know how it goes next week. You just got your daily dose of Alize. We out. Peace.